Know, O my friend, that I saw myself in a dream telling people. It is a Qur'anic principle that you must not consider anything other than Him, the glorious One, as greater than you, and so begin to worship it. Nor must you consider yourself greater than anything, and so claim absolute dominion over it. That which is other than Him is equal to anything else in its distance from being the object of worship and in respect of its being a created thing. Know, O heedless sight, you look around and believing the world to be stable and perpetual, think you are stable and perpetual. Therefore, the world's final destruction scares you as though you would live until that destruction. But this is not true, for you and your own world are decaying every moment. Due to this illusion, you are like one who holds a mirror reflecting a mansion, a town, or a garden. The least movement or change of the mirror causes a tumult in that reflected image with which the person is so content. Their apparent, seeming permanence does not benefit you, for your share is only what the mirror reflects. Consider your mirror and how both it and the reflection can perish at any moment. Do not burden it with what it cannot bear. Know, O friend, that the all-wise Creator usually revives that which is of great value. That is, He does not let those valuable things perish permanently through the changes of seasons, years, and centuries. Rather, He continually returns them to life. When you look at the types of resurrection occurring daily, yearly, and every century, you see this established, regular law. Scientists agree that humanity is the most perfect fruit of the tree of creation and has the greatest importance and value. As each person is like a species of other living beings, each person will be resurrected on Judgment Day with his or her exact identity and body, title, and form. Know, O ignorant, arrogant soul, that every station or position has many different shadows. How can a shadow be equal to the original? How can one who sees the king's throne reflected in water or dreams of sitting upon it think that he or she is the king or equal to the king? How can one who sees stars reflected in a pool and imagines himself or herself to be in the sky be like one who journeys among or above stars? Those who rely on personal intellect and knowledge while traveling in the inner dimension of existence are in perilous arrogance, for although their station is only a shadow of the original, they are proud of their knowledge. They attribute it to themselves, seeing themselves as comparable with that station's real owner. They make a serious mistake and due to their conceit begin to say in ingratitude, "This has been given to me because of my knowledge." But this is only a means to test them. Know, O friend, that the conclusive phrases or sentences usually coming at the end of Qur'anic verses have connections with the actual verses as well as with the subject matter being discussed, the surah and the entire Qur'an. They connect the verses with one another, causing one to recollect and consider them. Do not judge what is stated therein only by the meanings of the verses in which they are found, nor seek their grandeur only where they are mentioned. For example, thus we detail the signs and revelations. We make recurring explanations in this Qur'an. We coined for humanity in the Qur'an all kinds of similitudes. Surely God is all dignified, all wise. Surely God is all-knowing, all-powerful, that you may reflect, that you may deserve God's protection. And similar verses have eyes looking at most of the Qur'anic verses, most of God's signs of creation, and the general conditions and affairs of human life and characteristics. These concluding phrases or sentences which seal and confirm the verses draw the reader's attention from the mingled and detailed particular affairs to universal and inclusive laws and truths and toward higher aims and purposes. Know, O my heart, that Satan deceives you by calling to your attention that which is infinitely abundant in order to diminish the value of the bounties conferred on you. To save yourself from this deception, consider how needy and unable you are to meet even your own needs. Reflect upon the purposive wisdom in the bounties you are given and the purposeful act of giving bounties. Meditate on the boundless manifestations of divine power, knowledge, and will, on the purposes for your existence, and on its consequences with respect to the one who has given you existence, the one who owns the all-beautiful names. Satan also deceives you through your egotism and formidable conceit. He calls small creatures and vermin to your attention, asking, "What is the use of creating such short-lived things?" thereby implying that life's purpose lies in life itself and derives its value from perpetuity. This argument suggests that creating short-lived creatures is meaningless and thus causes you to reduce the value of the mercy, favoring, and perfect artistry in what you observe. This, in turn, causes you to forget or even deny the Maker. Respond to Satan's deception by showing him heaven with its stars and earth with its animate creatures. Compared with you, their huge size will awaken you. Look at your own selves and see how marvelous they are and how wonderfully they fulfill their tasks. See what vital tasks your white and red blood corpuscles perform while you are alive. Look at the subtle faculties springing from your heart. Know, O Europe, there are two of you, one that, benefiting from the religion of Jesus and Islamic civilization, has made human life more comfortable through its inventions, and another one that, based on naturalistic and materialistic philosophy, opposes the revealed religions. The evil of the latter surpasses the good of the former and is the cause of most human wretchedness and suffering. I now address the second Europe. You have taken in your right hand the dark, deviating philosophy, and in your left hand the corrupt, harmful civilization. And then you claim that humanity's happiness lies in them. I wish your hands were broken, and your two offerings will cause you to die. O spreader of unbelief and ingratitude, can one with a corrupt conscience and mental and spiritual illnesses be happy with rich clothes and worldly possessions? For one disappointed or disillusioned by the non-fulfillment of even one expectation, sweetness turns sour, pleasure changes into pain, and the world becomes narrow. How can one exposed to your evil, whose heart and spirit have been stricken with your misguidance, and left frustrated and distressed, find happiness with what you offer? Can one be described as happy when his or her body is in a deceiving, fleeting paradisical state, while his or her spirit and heart are in hellish torment? Listen, O intriguing and corrupting spirit, to what I tell you. You have brought many perils and troubles upon humanity. Consider the following parable. There are two roads before us. We choose one and begin to walk. At every step, helpless people are attacked by dogs who rob them of everything, destroy their houses, and beat them so savagely that even heaven weeps for them. Wherever we look, we see the same scene, filled with the oppressor's shouts and the oppressed's cries and lamentations. Since we feel pain when others are in pain, our conscience cannot bear such injustice and lamentation. So, those who see such events and cannot prevent them lose hope and abandon all human feelings. no longer concerned with others' destruction, so long as they remain safe, they surrender to the utmost degree of savagery. O Europe, you have used your genius to bring humanity to this hellish state as a gift, and then, seeing that this illness is incurable, you offer people charming amusements and fancies as a cure to anesthetize them. However, your cure will kill you. Taking the other road, we see something quite different. At every station, place, and town, soldiers perform their duties. Now and then, the king's officials come, take the weapons and other belongings lent to them by the government, and give them their discharge papers. The soldiers are pleased, although outwardly they look sad, for now they can return to their king. If the officials meet a recruit who does not know them, that recruit tells them, "I am the king's soldier and in his service. My final destination is with him. If he has sent you here, welcome. If not, stay away, for no matter how many of you there are, I will fight with you, not for myself, to preserve my lord's trust and protect his royal dignity and honor." Thus, we constantly see new troops concentrated or mobilized with joy and praises of the king birth, while many others are discharged with contentment and glorify the king death. The Qur'an offers humanity a gift. If people respect it and use it as a guide, they will enter this second road. Then no fear shall come upon them, neither shall they grieve. O Europe, you assume that all living creatures are their own lords, work in their own name, and for their own pleasure, that their only aim in life is to survive. Do you not see the universal mutual helping among them as established by their Creator? Plants help animals, and animals help humanity. But you see this as conflict and contention, and preach that life consists of conflict. Glory be to God! How can this be true? Can you not see that the particles or atoms of all foods help nourish the body's cells? This mutual assistance results from everything obeying the order of a munificent Lord, and proves that no living creature is the Lord of itself. Moreover, this is so because humanity, among all living agents, is the most honorable, as it is endowed with free choice and a wider field of activity. Despite this, our part, even in our daily acts, is minuscule. If this most honorable creature, one endowed with free will and the widest field of activity, has so little part in its own ownership and lordship, to what degree can other animate and lively things claim lordship over themselves? O Europe, you have fallen into such error because your genius has caused you to forget your Lord, the Creator of everything. As a result, this illusion of your true nature has caused you to attribute all things and acts to material causes, and to share what belongs to God with false claimants to divinity. This compels all living beings to struggle with innumerable aversions and hostilities to satisfy their endless needs through an atom's weight of power, a hair's capacity of will, a single glimpse light of consciousness, and a tiny sparkle of life. Whatever they have in the name of power and will, consciousness and life cannot satisfy even one of their needs. When misfortune visits them, they seek help from deaf and blind causes. But the appeals of unbelievers are futile. Your dark and darkening genius has changed humanity's day into a night illuminated with false, illusory lights. Students of your genius see every living being as the wretched people we saw along the first way, attacked by darkness from all sides. They see the world as an abode of lamentation and all voices in it as wailings over death and groans of orphans. Students, completely educated by your genius, become pharaohs and tyrants who adore the meanest things and are attached to every beneficial means as if they were their lords. They are apparently refractory, but so humble themselves for the sake of pleasures that they even kiss a Satan's feet for the meanest benefit. They appear to be very powerful, but as they have no point of support in their inner worlds, they are in reality infinitely weak. Your students seek only to satisfy their stomachs and private parts, or to benefit their tribes or races, not in the tribe's name, but in that of personal interest, greed, and conceit. They love only themselves and sacrifice everything for it. Sincere students of the Qur'an, however, are servants who do not lower themselves even before the greatest creature or interest, even if it be paradise. They are mild and gentle, but only humble themselves before their Creator and with His permission. They are poor, but the richest of all through what their munificent Lord has stored in them, weak, but the strongest of all through their Master's strength, whose power is infinite. Let alone seeking this fleeting world as their aim in life, they do not seek even to enter paradise, and are not pleased with it. Their aim is to obtain the good pleasure of their Lord only, and paradise in only a reward. Consider the degree of difference between these two groups' objectives. Students of the Qur'an see even the greatest things, such as the supreme throne of God and the Son, as helpless in themselves, dutiful, and subjugated. Their spirits have a very strong relation with all pious inhabitants of the heavens and earth, and they pray for them as sincerely as they pray for their own families. Consider their qualities. Those in the first group flee from even their own family members to pursue their own interest. Those in the second group regard all servants of God as family members. The Qur'an gives its students all particles in the universe to use as prayer beads to glorify God. In place of the 99-bead rosary, it gives them all the atomic chains in the universe to mention their Lord to an infinite degree. Look at such saintly students of that divine revelation as Abdul Qadir Geylani, Al-Rufai, or Al-Shazili, and see how they used everything in the universe to glorify, mention, and praise God to an infinite degree. They saw their actions as small and so stretched their hands to what is infinite and referred to knowledge of the knower of the unseen. Look at these people. Although defeated by a microbe and driven to distress and despair by the least grief and anxiety, see to what exalted ranks they rise, to what extent their faculties are developed by the Qur'an's enlightening guidance. Such people regard the world and its contents as insufficient to say their beads, and belittle paradise as the aim of their praise and glorification. Despite this, they do not consider themselves greater and more virtuous than the least of God's creatures. The Qur'an guides humanity. O humanity, what you hold in your hand is a trust and belongs to the owner of all things, who has power over and knows everything. He pities you and is munificent. He buys from you his property that he entrusted to you to preserve it on your behalf so that you will not lose it. He gives you a very great price in return. Like a soldier, you have responsibilities and certain duties, so act in his name and for his sake. He provides you with whatever you need and protects you against whatever you cannot overcome. The purpose of life is to reflect the manifestations of His names and essential qualities. When misfortune visits you, say, "We are God's and His service." If you have come with His permission, will come. We are returning unto Him and desire a vision of Him. He will free us from life's duties and difficulties whenever He wills. If, O misfortune, this will happen through your hand, it is all right. However, if He has allowed you to come to test my truthfulness to His trust, but has not allowed me to submit myself to you, then I will never submit His trust, the life He has given me. This is the reality of the two ways. But people vary in guidance and misguidance, and heedlessness has many degrees. The degree of heedlessness that has caught the civilized has made its people insensible to acute pain. However, increased scientific sensitivity and the warning of death may yet rend this veil of heedlessness asunder. O young people, especially those in Muslim lands, after you have suffered such misfortune at the hands of the second Europe, will you still follow its debaucheries and ideas and unconsciously join its ranks? Does this not contradict your claim of patriotism, as it means despising devotion to national values and ridiculing the nation? May God guide us and you to the straight path. No, O friend, shaken by the great numbers of unbelievers and their shared denial of some truths of belief. Value is not judged by quantity. If a man or a woman cannot remain human, they turn into devilish animals. As they advance in animalistic greed and appetites, like many of those who deny the religion, they increase in bestiality. In the same way, you see that this world contains far more real animals than human beings, although human beings are God's wise grants. This shows that value lies in quality, not quantity. Moreover, denial is a negation, but two people who affirm are preferred to 1,000 people who negate. What is an unbeliever? They are people who do not believe in religion, a species created to improve material life in this world and the fire in the other. They may serve as a means of comparison in understanding the degrees of the Almighty's blessings upon believers. They agree on denying the truth, but their agreement has no weight, for denial, even if in the form of affirmation, is negation, repudiation, rejection, ignorance, and acceptance of non-existence. For example, if all but two people in Istanbul rejected the sighting of the crescent moon at the beginning of Ramadan, and those two state that they have seen it, their testimony is preferred, for they support each other. In other words, two affirmations are considered stronger than any number of negations. Affirmation relates to the reality or fact itself, whereas negation depends on the one who negates. If a thick cloth makes it impossible for all people, except a few, to see the sun, can we say that the sun is not there? Of course not, for those who cannot see it will say, I cannot see the sun, not the sun does not exist. Those who negate or deny the truths or essentials of belief offer similar excuses. But as their denials do not corroborate one another, they do not support one another. Such agreement is like coming together to go through a narrow hole. It is useless and has no weight or value. Know, O you who urge Muslims to strive for verbal life and material progress, be careful, for some of the ropes connecting them to the religion are thin. Take care that they are not broken and that their social life is not greatly harmed, for, unlike unbelievers, apostates go completely bad and cause corruption. Unlike followers of other revealed religions living among Muslims, people who commit major sins openly and without shame are treated like traitors. Their testimony is not accepted in court, for their consciences are guilty and corrupt. Do not be deceived by the great numbers of such transgressors, for they are not pleased with their transgression. Without seeking transgression, they have found themselves in it. Almost all transgressors want to be pious and devout Muslims to see their superiors as pious and righteous. Do you think that Muslims never love the world and need awakening, that they forget their share here? It is not so. Rather, greed has intensified and caused believers to lose. Also, many factors invite people to the world. One's carnal soul, needs, passions, desires, a Satan, bad friends like you, the sweetness of immediate profit, and the like, while those inviting to the hereafter are few. Patriotic feelings and efforts should add to the few. Do you think that our poverty comes from our ascetic tendencies? No. Do you not see that the Magians, Buddhists, and others subjected to Europe's assaults and domination are poorer than us? Do you not see that the Muslims have more than they need to make ends meet and live well enough, but that it is usurped and swindled from them by Westerners? If you expect that following their civilization will lead to better rule and security in your country, you are mistaken, for controlling and governing 100 transgressors with bad morals and weak, shaken belief is harder than doing the same with thousands of pious believers. Muslims do not need to be urged to strive greedily for the world. What they need is a good organization of labor, arrangement of working hours, profitable cooperation, and internal security. These are possible only through awareness of God and pity.